Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something literally life-changing, the crazy, undeniable connection between our hidden internal thoughts and our actual real-world results. We're going to unpack exactly why habits improve your life 10x. And to do this, we're mashing up two completely different sources. We've got the timeless 1903 philosophy from James Allen's classic, As a Man Thinketh, and we're crossing that with a hyper-modern 2026 personal operating system called the MyCS user manual. The synergy here? Absolutely mind-blowing.
But right off the bat, I gotta ask you, do you ever feel like you're just at the mercy of your daily circumstances? Like you're just reacting to whatever the day throws at you, kind of just drifting along? Look, it's a super common feeling. But today, we're gonna figure out how to stop playing the victim of circumstance and start actively engineering your own reality.
And that brings us right to the core secret. It's captured perfectly in this powerful quote from James Allen way back in 1903. He says, "Thought rapidly crystallizes into habit, and habit solidifies into circumstance." Think about that. That is the entire pipeline of human achievement in one single sentence. Habits are the ultimate multiplier. They are the literal, physical bridge between the invisible world inside your head and the visible reality you walk around in every day.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the root of circumstance, followed by habits, the 10x multiplier. Then we'll cover your daily command cycle, tracking and scoring progress, and wrap it all up with mastering your destiny. Let's get into it.
Part 1. The root of circumstance. Tending the garden of the mind.
Okay, so James Allen points out this amazing analogy. Your mind is exactly like a garden. It's going to produce results whether you intelligently cultivate it or just let it run completely wild. If you aren't planting useful seeds, guess what? Useless weed seeds are going to fall in and take over. Which brings us to this absolute, undeniable law. Your circumstance isn't just some random stroke of luck. The outer conditions of your life are always harmoniously related to your inner state. Literally, you are where you are by the law of your own being.
And wow, does this next dot call out our modern obsession with quick fixes? Allen wrote, "Men are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound." It's so true, right? Fighting against external stuff, like complaining about your boss or your bank account, is basically useless if you're secretly still nourishing the root causes of that failure in your own mind, with lazy, negative, or fearful thoughts. Part 2. Habits, the 10x multiplier. Bridging thought and reality. So, how do we actually fix those root causes? Well, abstract thoughts need a vehicle to become reality. And we basically have two ways to operate here. First, we've got what Allen calls aimless drifting. This happens when your mind is neglected, which leads to weak habits and ultimately failure and indigence. On the flip side, we have a mission plan, a concept pulled straight from the 2026 MyCS operating system manual. This is all about a cultivated mind, tracked habits, and deliberate daily intent. It's the stark difference between just letting the weeds grow and rolling up your sleeves to actively design a prosperous garden.
The crucial takeaway here is this. Habits are the 10x multiplier that transforms those abstract thoughts into concrete realities. They're the exact practical tool you need to stop fighting your circumstances and start engineering them. Once you align your daily actions with a central overarching purpose, you literally amplify your output exponentially. It's a total game changer.
Part 3. Your daily command cycle. The MyCS operating system.
Now we're zooming in from grand, timeless philosophy to a gritty, boots-on-the-ground system. And it's all centered around one core concept, the daily loop. Brief, execute, track, debrief, learn. Think of this as your personal command center. It's the actual, step-by-step method you use to systematically weed your mental garden every single day, turning those high-level thoughts into highly disciplined, tracked habits. Let's see how this loop kicks off.
It all begins with the morning briefing. You don't just roll out of bed and start drifting, right? According to the MyCS manual, you run through a 5-step guided workflow to set your intent. You review yesterday, set your top 3 priorities, do a quick status check across your life domains, review today's schedule for focused work blocks, and finally, you confirm and launch by defining the one thing, that single non-negotiable outcome that matters most today. This is exactly how you deliberately plant the right seeds before the day even gets going. Then, at the end of the day, you close the loop with the evening debrief. Think of this as a quick after-action review with 4 simple steps. You log your sustains, the stuff that went really well, but pay close attention to step 2 here, improves. This framing is brilliant.
Obstacles or places where you messed up aren't recorded as failures. They're logged as specific improvements for next time. Then you rate your daily status and set tomorrow's focus. It ensures you're constantly learning, adapting, and evolving. No drifting allowed.
Part 4. Tracking and scoring progress. The data behind destiny.
Now, this system doesn't just pat you on the back and tell you to think good thoughts. It actually measures your progress with hard data. Take a look at the default factors for the daily MyCS command score. Habit completion is weighted heavily at 25%. That's higher than anything else on the board, even task completion, which sits at 20%. The system is literally mathematically designed to reward the daily crystallization of your thoughts into habits above all other activities.
And we see that exact same thing play out when we look at specific life domains, stuff like health, finance, or personal growth. Habits hold a massive 30% weighting here. Tasks are 20%. Objectives are 15%. This proves structurally that even when you are chasing massive multi-year objectives, your daily habits remain the single most heavily weighted factor in your success. They truly, undeniably are your 10x multiplier.
Part 5. Mastering Your Destiny. From philosophy to execution.
All right, it's time to weave all these principles back together. James Allen famously wrote, "The vision that you glorify in your mind, this you will build your life by, this you will become." Look, all great achievements start as a dream, a lofty ideal. But as we've seen throughout this explainer, that vision can't just be an idle wish. It demands disciplined, daily, tracked execution. You have to actively build the life you glorify in your mind, habit by habit, day by day.
So, what's the big takeaway here? How do you actually 10x your life? First, stop fighting your circumstances. They're just the fruit. You need to look to the root. Second, actively cultivate your mind's garden with deliberate daily intent. Third, execute that daily loop. Brief your morning, execute the day, and debrief your evening. And finally, track your habits like your life depends on it, making them your absolute highest priority, because they are the engine of your success.
I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on today. Knowing that your thoughts rapidly crystallize into habits, and those habits solidify into your concrete circumstances, will you continue to let your mind run wild, or are you ready to finally take command of your garden and engineer your 10x life? The choice and the execution is entirely up to you. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer.